Well, if you're someone who just can't let it go, this video might just be the thing that you're looking for. Okay, let's face it, we're all human beings and we all have some things that we regret and some things that we wish we could go back in time and change, but you know what? We can't. Whether that be missed opportunities, failed relationships, or just general regrets in life. The only way to swim out of this hellhole of regret, of past experiences and life lessons that we've all been through is to let them go. That's it, just simply let them go. Just by releasing a tight grip on all of our past experiences, failed relationships, missed opportunities, whatever it is that we regret in our life, we let ourselves breathe and set ourselves free for new experiences, new lessons, and new relationships. Now, letting go does not mean that you invalidate your feelings, that you dismiss your feelings, but rather you accept them, you confront them, you sit with them, you feel them entirely through and through, and you let it go. Because those feelings and those expectations are really not serving you currently, and they're not going to serve you in your future, so you might as well release them. Often very similar to the law of detachment, where you acknowledge the pain, you acknowledge the feelings, you acknowledge the lessons that it brought you. However, you don't let those past experiences hinder your current growth, your current self, your current progression, because your current progression is what's going to make you into your future self, and that's not what you want. So you're going to let all of that go while keeping all of the lessons intact so that, you know what, you can implement them in your life later on. However, it does not mean that your past needs to affect anything in your present or anything in your future. So releasing it is the best thing you could do for your future self. It does not in any way mean that you're demeaning your past or those important lessons that your past taught you. Yes, they are very important and you need to remember the lessons. However, what you're going to do is you're not going to let all of those things affect your current emotional state, your mental state, your actions, your habits. None of that. For that reason, you need to feel them through and through, accept them for what they are, acknowledge it, that you know what, okay, fine, it taught me something and I'm very grateful for those lessons. However, I'm deciding to move on. Now, letting go is a very big contributing factor when it comes to personal growth and development, because you're freeing up a lot of your emotional and mental energy, which is very, very essential for the things you need to do, for the things at hand right now. Your current self needs all of that to achieve all of your tasks, your goals, everything. So you need to free up that emotional space and that mental space, release that hurt and that lesson and that pain, and just let it go. Now, what happens here is when we often think about our past failures, our past hurt, our past unmet expectations, we associate ourselves with the version of us we were back then. And you know what? You're not that same version. What that's going to do is if you keep associating yourself with that version of yourself who got hurt, who was abused, who was whatever in the past, you're going to stay stuck in the past, and that's not the best thing for you right now. Now you have to think about your future self and your highest self. If your highest self has nothing to do with whatever happened to you in your past, you need to let your past go, and in the best way possible, because that's going to allow you to heal, to grow, to learn the lessons that you needed to learn in order to grow and evolve into the person that you really want to become. So you know what, you're actually going to be grateful for those lessons. You're actually going to be grateful for those unmet expectations, for those missed opportunities, for those, horrible relationships that you probably were in, that taught you valuable lessons in your life, what you should and shouldn't tolerate, what you should and shouldn't put up with, what your value is, what your worth is. It taught you a lot. So you're going to keep the lessons and you're going to let go of any of the emotions associated with those lessons, because what? That's none of your business. It's absolutely none of your business. Those lessons are your business, so keep them, because you're going to need them for your future self and you're going to need them to actually improve yourself and improvise. Now that you have all the lessons from your past, you're paving ways for new opportunities, for better expectations, and for better relationships. Think about it like that. Like, actually think about it. Now you know what you like and what you don't like. Now you know what your standards are. You know what your worth is. Like, you know what you're going to expect. Like, you know what your expectations look like. So there you go. They're going to be met. You're going to find people who are going to fulfill all of those needs and expectations that you have. They're going to meet your standards. You're going to find opportunities that resonate with you, that align with you, and that actually propel you to become your highest self. You're going to find things and situations, you're going to find yourself in situations that actually uplift you and that put you onto a path that's good for you. So why wouldn't you want that? Also, you need to let it go, because that's going to make room for a stress-free and an anxiety-free version of yourself, who can actually focus on the things that are important and that are your priority right now, and something that you really want to work towards, all of your goals, your achievements, your dreams, your ambitions. You need to be in a very calm state of mind while you're working towards all of these. So just by holding on to the past, you're actually disturbing your mental peace, you're actually disturbing your mental sanity, you're actually, you're doing a very bad job. You're doing a very bad job when it comes to your own mental and emotional well-being, because you don't know how to take care of yourself in a way. That's what it tells me. So you need to let it go. You need to let it go for all of these reasons. Now that we understand the importance of letting go and why it's important and why it's necessary to let it go, how are we going to understand when it's time to let it go, and what are the things that we need to let go? Hey, sometimes some things are not bad. We don't need to let them go. Sometimes our emotions could be a little confused and they could be all over the place, which is, what, we need to bring them back and actually understand the triggers and those situations in our life that we need to let go. Let's put this simply. As soon as you start feeling resentment, anger, hatred, just volatile emotions towards a particular person or a particular situation or a particular event that happened in your life, that's the thing you need to let go. That's the thing you absolutely need to let go, whether that be in your near past or in your distant past. It doesn't matter when it happened, doesn't matter how it happened. You need to let that situation go. But how are you going to let it go? Is you're going to have to process that situation through and through. Because sometimes it so happens, it's human tendency. Again, this is very natural and it's normal that sometimes we tend to dismiss fears, or we dismiss negativity, or we kind of dismiss the resentment, we dismiss the anger, but it all comes back to us rushing whenever we do think about that particular event or particular situation or that particular person, because we didn't really process that hate, we didn't really process that anger, that frustration, that resentment, just those volatile emotions. We didn't process them completely, and that's why we find it so hard to let it go. Because if you've actually processed those emotions, you've actually felt those emotions, you've actually sat with those emotions, you've let them come to you and go through you and not just stay stagnant here, that's when the letting go will even start. Again, coming back to the topic, if you feel like that particular issue, that particular person is just consuming your mind non-stop because they hurt you so much, or that particular situation was very mentally disturbing for you, it was emotionally very draining for you, it was just very exhausting being in that situation or just being with that person, and it's consuming your day-to-day activities, it's consuming your life, like you can't function normally, you need to understand that these are certain situations that you need to let go of. You need to entirely and fully let go of these situations, because they are actually hampering your progress. They're actually hampering you from becoming your best version. Again, your past might be holding you back from pursuing new opportunities, from pursuing new relationships, to just, putting yourself in different situations and scenarios, because now you fear that the same incident might repeat again, and you're just not over that particular past incident and you don't know how to deal with it. Thus, you're actually holding yourself back from letting go completely and from actually indulging in different situations and with different people to be able to evolve as a human being. Also, if it's causing you to neglect your own needs and well-being, I think it's time to consider letting it go. And you guys don't understand how negatively this can actually impact your life, like how negative holding on is to something that you should have let go a long time ago. You have no idea. Now, for example, if you're a nostalgic person and you reminisce about the past, I'm telling you, majority of the times, you're living in the past. So if your past is not peaceful, joyful, it does not bring you happiness, contentment, fulfillment, if that's not your past, you're probably living in a miserable, sad, depressed, anxiety-ridden past. That means you haven't let it go. You just haven't let it go. And the problem is, it's not that happened. That happened, and that was unfortunate, whatever happened in your past. However, you are the one who won't let yourself move forward from it. You are the one who's actually holding on to it, which is even worse. So let it go. Just you know what, be generous and be kind towards yourself. Show yourself that love and let it go, because you're not going to allow yourself to experience anything beautiful anymore in your future. You're not going to allow yourself to explore in the future because now you're too scared, because you're living in the past. You're actually just living in the past because you're just like, you know what, that happened to me once. Yeah, it's good to take the lesson, but leave the emotions, because reliving those emotions is doing you no good and it's doing nobody any good, to be honest. You know what, there are people out there who actually want to get to know you. There are opportunities out there who actually want to work with you, people who actually crave you, people who actually want to be with you. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Now, how are you going to let it go? Yes, we've come to the rich ooey gooey bit. That is, how are you actually truly going to let all of that go? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to acknowledge it. Okay, you're going to acknowledge it and you're going to accept it for what it is rather than what it should have been. Don't be delusional. Just don't be delusional. At this point, this is not going to help. Please just take my advice. Just don't be delusional. Accept that situation for what it is and now sit with it. Now sit with it, because that's going to bring about a bunch of feelings that's going to make you feel like, oh, that was a little overwhelming, that was a little painful, that was a little embarrassing, that was a little hurtful, that was a little, you know what, mean, or that person was just a little rude, or that person was, you know what, I'm just heartbroken, or whatever you feel like, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel those feelings and you're going to let yourself feel those feelings. You're not going to feel embarrassed. You're not going to feel ashamed. You're not going to judge yourself. You're not going to critique yourself. You're not going to do any of those things. Rather, you're just going to let those feelings come to you and be like, you know what, all right, fine. I just found myself in this shitty situation and this is how I feel about this shitty situation. So, you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. Like, it was out of my control. And even if it was in my control, I didn't control it probably at the right time. You know what? It's brought about these bunch of feelings that I don't want to feel, but I'm feeling them. It is what it is. Process your feelings how you want to process your feelings. Write about it, scream them, sing them. You know what? Talk to your friend. Do anything but process your feelings. Regulate your nervous system, because this is the time you're going to start feeling a lot anxious. You're going to start feeling anger and hatred, and you're going to be like, oh, I wish I had said something back then. Oh, I thought of a very good comeback, but it's too late. You know what? All of that is going to happen, but this is the first freaking step. Sit with yourself and accept it for what it is. Now, the second thing is you're going to distance yourself from anything that brought about those feelings or put you in that situation in the first place. Now, for example, if you were in a toxic relationship, or if you were in a toxic work environment, or you know what, you were just sad and depressed. That's completely fine if your mental health wasn't in the best place at all and you were actually, you know what, towards a path of self-destruction. You're going to forgive yourself. You're going to distance yourself from that toxic relationship, from that toxic, unhealthy environment. And you're also going to distance yourself from that unhealthy, toxic version of yourself who was on a path to nowhere. Okay, please just do that. Okay, do me a favor and do that. Once you've done that, you can actually start processing everything and start the process of letting it go. Once you actually distance yourself from all of that negativity and that toxicity in your life, you're going to start seeing things a lot more objectively. Again, why I tell you to keep processing your emotions and keep feeling your feelings and letting them go, because once they pass, your mind can start working. Your mind can absolutely start working because your emotions are no longer clouding your judgment, and you're not thinking from a place of an emotional point of view, but rather from an objective point of view. So now you can actually look at the situation objectively and be like, you know what, I played the role of whatever I played the role of, and there was hurt, there was pain, there was a lot of lessons that I learned, but I think I'm ready to move on. And for that, again, it should be your decision. You need to tell yourself, I'm ready to move on. I accept it for what it is and I'm ready to move on. I am ready for my bright future. I'm ready for my highest self. I'm ready for my self-improvement. I'm ready for all and everything that my future has to bring. I'm ready for it. First step to letting it go, again, is you accepting the fact that you're ready for it, and you accepting the fact that, you know what, I'm willing to let it go. It should be a choice. letting go is again a choice, and you need to make that choice. Now, inculcating acceptance and self-awareness is going to be your key here to even let go of any particular situation, is because now you're accepting that situation for what it is rather than what it should have been. You're not being delusional about it. That removes the unnecessary expectations attached to that situation or that particular person, because you see that particular situation or that person for who they are, for what that particular situation is, and you're okay with it. You're okay with it, even though it hurt you, even though it brought you a lot of pain, and you know what, it put you in a position that it shouldn't have. It actually was disturbing in a way. But now you're able to detach from it because you see that shitty situation or that shitty person for what they are, a piece of shit. So you're okay with that fact now. So you're detached in a way where you're like, you know what, okay, what else could I expect from this particular situation? Or what else could I have expected from this particular person? So you kind of come to terms and you level with the fact that, you know what, okay, this is what I get for dealing with that. So there you go. You inculcate a sense of self-awareness within yourself, where you come to terms with the fact again that, you know what, you might have made some bad decisions. You might have missed some red flags. You might have actually done some self-harm along the way, whether you knew it or not. You were probably too blinded by love, or you were too blinded by the delusion of what it might have been or what it could have been, instead of for what it was. And that actually brought about a lot of expectations, which was not necessary at all. And those expectations that now hurt your own feelings, and you know what, that's damaging and that's bad. And also they brought about this feeling of resentment, because now you were in this parallel reality, because you're like, oh, it should have worked out that way. It should have, I should have done that, or he should have done that, or you know what, that opportunity should have turned out this way. But actually it was not that. Actually the reality is right in front of you. Sometimes we just find it very hard to actually focus on what the true nature of that particular thing is. And as soon as we devoid ourselves of all emotions and we actually become detached, we see that particular thing for what they are and for what it truly stands for. Also, when it comes to processing your emotions, my humble request to you would be, stop. Just don't judge yourself. Just don't critique yourself. Just process your emotions as a regular part of the day. You don't need that extra judgment, that self-harm and self-critique. You don't need all of that. You just don't need that bullshit. So leave that out of the picture and be like, you know what, it is what it is. I went through what I did and this is how I feel. So I need to process my emotions and process my feelings right now. So there you go. I'm processing that. I'm going to keep the lessons. I'm going to keep the learning. And I'm very grateful for those lessons. I'm very grateful for that learning. However, I would like to move on, because you have no idea how good life's about to get. You have no idea. As soon as you process all of that and as soon as you're out of that gunk, life just got a hell of a lot better, because life's just about to flip in your face, because you've actually made the decision that you want to let it go and you actually want to let good things happen to you and good people come to you. So that's exactly what's going to happen. Once you have done the bit where you have let everything go, you've let the negative emotions go, and you've let that particular situation and the person go out of your life, like everything is just exited out of your life, now there's so much room for new things to come into your life. So what you're going to do is you're going to use all of that space, time and energy to fuel yourself up, to actually reconnect with yourself, to water yourself. Yes, this is where the real stuff is. This is where self-love comes into the picture, because you've been through a lot. Okay, your emotions are expensive and your emotions are very important. Same is your mental health and same are you. So you're going to treat yourself like the princess and the goddess, and if you're a guy, like the prince and the god that you are. So you're going to fill up all your time, energy and space and attention with the things you want to do, with the things that bring you joy, with the things that bring you peace, with the things that bring you happiness, that bring you contentment, that make you feel on top of the world. That could include literally anything. But again, I don't just mean physical activity. I also mean regulating your nervous system, meditating, doing things that fulfill and nourish your soul, because that's very important too, because your soul has also been through this journey and you need to actually soothe and heal your soul and just be like, you know what, at my core, I'm at peace. So that's also important. Again, please, the materialistic things are always there in the picture. Go shop, go buy yourself whatever you want, go buy yourself flowers, get yourself that coffee. You know what, read a book, lay in bed, get an at-home spa or go out for a spa. book a vacation, go on a walk with your friend, like just try new things, try new food, go for a movie with your friends, hang out with your friends, just make space and make time, and utilize all that energy for yourself. Like go back onto that era where you're like, you know what, I don't know, people call it a villain era, but I would just call it a you era or a me era, because you know what, we ain't no villains, we do shit for ourselves. Okay, that's probably a villain. That's probably a villain. But you know what? If so be it, so be it. That's time for your villain era. Then that's what it calls for. You're gonna switch up. You're gonna try new makeup routines. You're gonna try new hairstyles. You're gonna try new outfits. You're gonna change your look. You're going to do anything and everything possible to get yourself grooving, moving, but also improving yourself. What this is going to do is this self-love journey is actually going to help you find your own passions, your desires, your values, your morals. It's going to reconnect yourself to who you are at a core level. It's going to allow you to actually make space for the things that you like, what you don't like, what your worth is. It's going to improve your self-worth, your self-confidence. It's going to boost your morale. It's actually it's going to make you feel so on top of the world. It's actually going to make you feel so righteous, which is great, which you should feel. Exactly, like that's the whole point of this. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to immerse yourself with hobbies and activities that you really like. You're going to enjoy your own company for a while. You're going to go hang out and do the things that you want to do. Even if that means nobody else is about to come with you, you want to do that alone, go do that alone. You're just going to do everything for yourself, by yourself, because it's your improvement journey. It's your self-care. And you know what? You've been through a lot, so you deserve that treat. So that's what's going to happen, and that's what you're going to do. Now, what happened here is once you're on that journey of self-discovery, reinvention, and actually focusing and giving it all to yourself, you found your direction in life, you found your purpose in life, and that makes moving forward from that particular situation or that person very easy. Like it's just the next step, you just have to take it. Like it's just there, you know what I mean? Moving forward is just another part of the puzzle. That's where you have to go. That's where the path leads you, because you've actually done the groundwork for moving forward. You've actually set yourself up for success because you've redirected all of your energy, attention, and focus back onto yourself. You're doing things for yourself, by yourself, just to prove a point to yourself that, you know what, I'm worthy of everything, I deserve everything, and you know what, I'm worthy of love. I deserve the best in the world. And none of that bullshit even matters, and none of that bullshit even defines me. So there you go. We're gonna go on a journey of growth mindset and an abundance mindset, because that's exactly what you need to move forward. Because of what the hell are you doing? You've got a whole life to live. You've got a whole future that's waiting for you to get there. For that, you're gonna take actionable steps. You're gonna take manageable steps. You're going to have big goals, but you're gonna break them down into manageable steps that you can actually inculcate into a part of your daily routine and do them as a part of your regular life, rather than them again becoming the prized possession in your life. Like nothing should take over your life. Everything is a part of your life. That's how you need to work this through. And you're going to have goals, you're going to have dreams, you have ambitions, you have college applications if you're in university, you've got a job you need to apply to, you've got that audition you need to go for, you've got that podcast to start, you've got that YouTube career you want to start. You have so much ish to do. You're going to do all of that, and you're going to do it one day at a time. Again, we're not trying to overwhelm ourselves, and for that I have a whole bunch of productivity videos which I'm going to tag here, so you guys can go and watch that, because that's going to help you boost your game, boost your productivity, and it's going to simplify things a lot more for you guys. Actually going to help you move forward while staying consistent without burning out. Also, the obvious things, that is meditation and visualization, can actually help you with processing your feelings, letting go of all the negativity and the gunk that you want to let go of, while visualizing your future, what you want it to look like, what you want you to feel like, what you want it to taste like, what does your future look like what is it that you got, you know what I mean? So it's going to help you understand who you are. It's going to make you understand what your higher self and what your future self even looks like, smells like, talks like, walks like. It's going to help you visualize all of that, thus allowing you to close the gap between who you are currently and your future self a lot more quicker. Because again, we're using manifestation, and you're using a lot more other techniques. That is, you're using productivity techniques, you're using time management techniques to achieve your goals and make them more manageable. Thus, you know what, you're doing them effectively, and you're on track, and you're consistent. So you've set yourself up for success, and that's exactly what your future looks like. Thus, you know what, these are all the steps you can actually take to first of all, identify the problem. Second of all, let go of that problem. Third of all, move forward from that problem. And fourth of all, plan a future for yourself, because that's exactly what you need to do. But not to pack everything all up and just set a deadline for yourself and get overwhelmed because you're trying to let go and move forward all at the same time. No, it's a process. It's a journey. It's not an end destination. So don't worry about it. Take it one day at a time, because you know what? It depends on, and it's very subjective to people who've been through a lot. To people who've probably not been through a lot, again, comparative reasons are not really justified. Everybody's pain is pain and everybody's suffering is suffering. So instead of all of that, instead of trying to push yourself through this and just, come out just to see the light at the end of the tunnel, which you're eventually going to see. So don't worry about that. But always remember that this is a journey that you're embarking, and this is a journey that you need to go through, and go through that journey effectively to come out as the best version of yourself, as the most wisest version of yourself. Having said that, if you guys enjoyed this video, and I know you did, so don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Till then, take care, and I'm gonna see you in my next one.
Money on top of me, money on top of her.